Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for the webinar. For those of you who are here with us today who may not have met Pasa in the past, Pasa Sustainable Agriculture is a Pennsylvania-based association of farmers and changemakers cultivating environmentally sound, economically viable, and community-focused farms and food systems. It's nice to meet you all here today. My name is Tabitha. I joined Pasa in September. I'm working with Pasa as project manager for the Food Shed Mapping Project. It's a statewide mapping and e-commerce initiative. I'll be moderating the webinar today. Just a few quick housekeeping items. We have all participants muted at this time. We'll leave this setting in place during our speakers' presentations, and we look forward to opening up the floor for questions once we've heard from both our speakers. While everyone's speaking, we invite you to use the Q&A feature to type questions to us at any point during the presentation. We'll review these and answer any outstanding questions once we've heard from both Jordan and Diane. As we're considering e-commerce options today, a quick note that National CSA Day is fast approaching. If you do not already have an e-commerce system in place, you have time to work with Local-Line or a platform of your choosing to get up and running before the end of February. We're grateful to have two great folks with us here today to speak firsthand to e-commerce platforms. We will let each speaker introduce themselves as they kick off their discussions. I'm going to hand this discussion over to Jordan in a moment. Jordan is with us from Local-Line, and he'll be demonstrating the e-commerce platform as well as giving an overview of ways in which e-commerce can elevate your business. Following Jordan's overview, we will hear from Diane. She'll speak with us about specific experiences in exploring and adopting an e-commerce platform. We're grateful for both our speakers today. Jordan, if you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. I am Jordan from the Local-Line team. Tabitha, is my camera on? Can you see me? I'm there. Okay, awesome. We're super thrilled to have formed a partnership with Pasa, and I feel super lucky to be able to be speaking to you all today. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Just 1 second, bring my presentation up. Here we go. Tabitha, you can see my screen? Okay. Oops. 1 second. Does that work? You can see my screen now? Perfect, there we go. Okay, so here's an agenda of what we're going to be going through today. I'm going to take you through an introduction of what Local-Line is and who we are, and basically why it's worth spending your next 20-25 minutes here listening to me. I'm going to go through who our ideal customer is, so who Local-Line was built for, why do farmers and farmers markets buy Local-Line, and what are the key problems that Local-Line aims to help farmers solve. Finally, I'll be going through a demo of the Local-Line software. So I won't be diving too specifically into one specific use case or workflow of our system. The simple reason being every farmer runs their business just slightly different than the next. I don't want to drill too far down into a CSA workflow, because then a farmer who sells to mainly wholesale customers might feel that the software is not right for them, and vice versa. So rather, I'll be doing more of a tour of the house style demo, if you will. We'll then hear from one of our customers in Pennsylvania, Diane, who will talk a little bit about her experience using the Local-Line software. And then finally, we'll be doing a Q&A with Diane and myself. I'm just going to remove this little bar at the bottom here. There we go. So what is Local-Line? Local-Line is an e-commerce and order management platform that we have designed specifically for farmers, food hubs, and for farmers markets. What does that mean? Well, as you probably know, there are just so many e-commerce platforms that exist out there, and most of them are fine. If my goal is to sell something like this coffee mug here, all I really need my customers to be able to do is to go to my website, to choose their favorite color of coffee mug, enter their address, enter their credit card information, and have that coffee mug shipped to me as a customer, right? The transaction ends there. The relationship might kind of end there. And that's really all I need my platform to be able to do for me. Selling farm products is different because unlike buying a coffee mug, buying food is something that people need to do every single week. People eat every single day. So a farmer needs to be able to do things like track inventory in real time, sell to multiple types of customers like household buyers, restaurants, wholesale customers, manage their CSA, and so on. And they might need to be able to provide different products and different prices to these different kinds of customers. They need to be able to manage multiple pickup points and multiple delivery locations, and they need to be able to generate pick lists, pack lists, and invoices. And those features are really all just core to the Local Line platform. What does a Local Line customer look like? Generally, someone using Local Line is looking to accomplish one of three goals. They want to be able to save time, they want to be able to sell more, or they're looking to make it easier for their customers to buy their products. Generally, if you make it easier for your customers to buy your products, you're going to save time and you're going to sell more. As we all know, farming is about working smarter, not harder. And I have yet in my 3 years at Local Line to speak to a farmer who enjoys the admin work aspect of their day, right? Sounds silly to say and really simple, but farmers like to farm. That's why they do it, right? Farmers previous to using Local Line, what they were doing in many of the conversations we've had are spending countless hours every week taking and managing orders using tools like Google Forms, Google Sheets, taking and managing orders through text message, phone call, Facebook Messenger, and so on. Without a live inventory system, it can take multiple touch points just to figure out one customer order between making sure that you have the exact products that they want, scheduling their delivery or pickup, and then getting actually paid for that order. Using Local Line can help you basically come in at the end of that day of work, and rather than having a number of messages from customers asking if you have a certain product, those messages are really just order confirmation emails letting you know what's been ordered through your Local Line store. So at the end of your day, you can simply log into your Local Line account, see what orders have been placed, know that they've already been scheduled for delivery or pickup based on your availability, and that payment has already been taken care of, whether that's online immediately at time of checkout via credit card or via another payment method that you've made available to the customer. I'd be remiss to not mention the impact that COVID-19 and this pandemic have had on e-commerce. But pre-pandemic, most conversations we were having with farmers were really based around the idea of educating the farmer on the value of e-commerce and e-commerce by itself, whereas now most of those conversations are now educating farmers on the benefit of using an e-commerce platform like Local Line that's actually built for farmers. We love the fact that farmers have moved online, but so many of those tools like a Square Store, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, there's just so many of them, as I said, when I was providing that coffee mug example. So many of them are really just still costing the farmer time that can be saved by using Local Line on things like those pick lists and pack lists and automated invoicing and so on. So that's my kind of intro, explaining what exactly Local Line is and who uses Local Line. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to jump into what the back end of the Local Line platform looks like. Generally, when I dive into these demos, there's kind of two paths to take. There's the path for the farmer who's never sold online before. And in that instance, I like to show the storefront first. And then there's kind of path two, where the farmer's been using a different e-commerce tool and is looking for something that's going to save them further time. Because of what I just mentioned, and so many farmers are starting to use an e-commerce tool, but not necessarily one geared towards farming, I'm going to go down path two and start by showing you the back end of the Local Line software, the farmer-facing side, that is, show you some of the time-saving tools that we provide you with. And then at the end, I'll show you what the actual storefront looks like. If there are any farmers market managers here, thank you so much for joining. Right now, what I'm focused on is the actual farmer-facing side. But like I said earlier, We're happy to provide anyone and everyone with their own personalized demos. We'd love to talk to you separately and walk you through how the actual market product works. So this is the back end of the local line system. This is nothing that your customers are ever going to see. This is what you as the farmer see and manage. What I'm going to walk you through is each one of these tabs along the top, from the My Store through to the Orders tab, explaining what exactly the functionality is that lives within that tab. I'll spend 2 or 3 minutes on each one of these tabs. Starting with the My Store tab, as you could probably imagine, this is where your products and your inventory live. Now, inventory in local line, I mentioned this earlier, the value of having a system that tracks inventory in real time. Inventory in local line is tracked in real time, to the point where as my customers place orders for my Apple products, this number, of course, subtracts from 100 down to 0. When this product does hit 0, an out of stock label will appear beside my product, and it doesn't just sit in my online store with an out of stock label. It's actually removed from my store completely. One of our biggest goals from day one has always been to help farmers better communicate with their customers exactly what's available at any given time. And if your storefront is full of products with an out of stock label, we're not exactly helping you achieve that goal. So when your customers arrive at your storefront, they will only see products that are actively available for them to purchase. If the worry, one last thing I'll say there is, if the worry is that you're going to forget to update inventory and you're going to end up not selling a product because you didn't update inventory, we do have a great feature that you can set up that'll send you an automated email when you fall below a certain inventory threshold. The next piece is the catalogs feature. The catalogs feature is really valuable for a farmer who sells across multiple customer channels, multiple sales channels, I should say. So you can use catalogs to essentially create different product and price lists for different kinds of customers. So you might have a public-facing e-commerce storefront that you want to plug into your existing website to have customers shop from, but then you also might sell to restaurant customers at a completely different price. So you can have your My Products catalog, where your products sell for essentially the price that you've input those products in the My Store products tab as, which would be known as the base price. And then within your restaurants catalog, if you provide a 10% discount to those customers, you can simply mark your products down by 10%. And then when a customer who is assigned to your restaurant's catalog logs into your storefront, they'll see these prices for your products rather than the base price. There's no way for a household buyer to accidentally see wholesale pricing. So this is a really strong way to ensure that all of your customers can shop from the same online storefront and pay the right prices for their products that they're buying. The last thing on the catalogs tab is this great feature called the catalog schedule. The catalog schedule essentially acts as an automatic reminder that goes out to your customers each week for them to place their orders. Now, in this scenario, every week on Tuesdays at 9 a.m., my customers will all get an email every week at 9 a.m. that will say a weekly catalog for Jordan's Farm. Click here to place your orders. It's a really simple set and forget kind of tool that you can plug in as you're building your store, and just know that each week your customers are going to be automatically reminded to order. All of our successful, I shouldn't say all of our successful customers, but most successful customers of Local Line do use this feature. Two really cool stats that we dug up last month around the catalog schedule. Customers of ours that use, so farmers that use the catalog schedule, receive 3 times the number of orders than those that do not use the catalog schedule, and their average order is 53% larger. You can understand why if you think of customers being provided, basically being emailed your store to their inbox rather than you having to wait for the customer to bring themselves to your online store. The last thing on the My Store tab before we move along is the idea of payment. So how do you actually get paid by your customers? Well, you can set your account up so that customers are forced to pay online with credit card at time of checkout if you're comfortable accepting credit card transactions. If transaction fees from a Square or Stripe or something you're trying to avoid, or you sell something like a meat product that has a variable weighted nature where you need to adjust an invoice, you maybe don't want to accept credit card payment right away at the time of transaction. Instead, what you can do is create any number of custom payment options. So if you want customers to have the option to pay via an e-transfer, a bank transfer, a cash, check, or even any great programs like Snap or EBT. If you need the ability to offer customers using Snap or EBT or other great assistance programs, the ability to buy from your online store, you can set up your local line storefront so customers can choose from those options when checking out. Now, we don't have the ability yet to process a Snap or EBT payment, but it's something where at least your customer can indicate how they're going to pay in person. We hope in the future to be able to accept and transact EBT and Snap. So the Deliveries tab is where your delivery plans and pickup locations live. Now, if you offer delivery to your customers, you'll want to create a different delivery plan for each city or town that you deliver to. You can also set up your delivery plans if your farm delivers to wholesale customers, but only offers pickup to household buyers, which is really common for farmers that we work with, where they offer a CSA program as well as selling to direct to restaurants. You can imagine you probably want to do direct delivery to your restaurant customers. You probably don't want to do home delivery to hundreds of CSA members, right? So you can set up your delivery plans where they're only connected to a specific catalog. Pickup locations can be thought of as drop points. So if you have customers who come to your farm, if you have customers who order online and pick up at the farmer's market, maybe you have centralized drop points in town. That's what a pickup location is used for. I'll pop open one of these just to show you exactly what this looks like. So for each delivery plan and each pickup location, you can set different minimum purchases, a pickup fee, order lead time, and availability. So minimum purchase and pickup fee is self-explanatory, how much a customer needs to spend to actually place that order. Useful feature if you don't want customers placing orders for $5 or $6, especially for delivery. Order lead time works as a cutoff time. So if I have customers pick up at the farmer's market on Saturday and my lead time is 72 hours, customers will only be able to place orders for this Saturday's market pickup until Wednesday, at which point they'll be cut off from ordering. So just gives you enough time to prepare your orders and have them ready so that customers aren't placing orders the night before the market. Your customers tab kind of acts as a mini CRM, so to speak. So every customer that orders from you will have an account with you. They don't need to have an account before shopping. They will create an account upon checking out if they don't already have one. I said I wouldn't get too deep into specific workflows, but I will just mention this because it always comes up in these larger group webinars, is the idea of a CSA, right? There's just like every farm is different, every single CSA is different. There's no right or wrong way to run a CSA. The truth is just that every single CSA is slightly different, whether it's credit-based and customized or whether it's, you pay $800 at the start of the year and you get a farmer's choice box each week. There's no right or wrong way to run a CSA. It's whatever works well for your farm, whatever is keeping your customers happy, right? Local Line added this really great customer credits feature that's worked really well for CSAs. We added it earlier this year. The way it works for a CSA is that the customer is able to buy a CSA share, call it $400 share. The farmer then puts that $400 as a credit onto the customer's account. So I'd find my customer Jordan here, and I'd add that $400, and sometimes there's a bonus for committing, call it 10%. Credit to Jordan's account, and now each week Jordan receives that catalog schedule, which is that reminder to place my order.
Hey Jordan, the mic on yours kind of cut out a little bit.
Any better?
Yeah, there you go.
At what point did I cut out?
Just 30 seconds ago.
Okay. Did you hear anything about the CSA program that I was talking about?
Yep, you talked about the credits and how well that's working. So I think we're just on this little box right here. Okay,
yeah. So what I was saying is the credit feature seems to work really well for CSAs, for CSAs at least that want to run a customized CSA. So the way it works generally is the farmer will take that CSA balance and place it on the customer's account as a credit. So if the CSA share is $400, commonly what we see is the farmer providing a 10% bonus for being a member. Call it $440. Then each week the customer receives the catalog schedule, which is that reminder to place their order. They go to the online store and are able to order each week with the declining balance. Now, I was a member of a CSA that used this this method for CSA management this year. It was really great because I go away during the summer a lot and I don't have to worry about putting on a vacation pause. And when I come back, I can end up spending different amounts each week, $40 one week, $0 the next week, and so on throughout the summer. What ended up happening for that farm, we actually wrote a success story on them, which you can find on our website, is that their average sale ended up doubling and customers were re-upping on their CSA by the end of August in a program that was supposed to run until Canadian Thanksgiving, which is roughly October 10th. Last tab is the orders tab. So any customer that places an order in your online store, that order will end up in your orders tab. The value that farmers get from the orders tab, this is where you can generate a pick list and your pack list and your invoices. If a customer is paying you via, well, anything other than credit card, this is where you can mark those orders as paid. I'll show you what the pick and pack list actually look like because that's where I believe a lot of farmers do get value from local line, as I said. So let's say for this weekend's pickup at my farm, I need to generate a pick list for that location in particular. I can select the specific date. I can select the specific location and then select the specific date, select all my orders, of which I have none in this demo account. But then what I would do is generate a pick list, which looks like this. All of the reports download into Excel. You can use Google Sheets if you don't have Excel by just uploading the form into Google Sheets. If you need to learn how to do that, we're happy to show you separate to this webinar. The concept of a pick list, as I'm sure everybody is generally aware, is to tell me in aggregate all the products that have been ordered from me over a given time period for a specific location. So now I know to fulfill all orders for my pickup at the farm this weekend, I need 5 pounds of heirloom tomatoes, I need 14 pounds of Honeycrisp apples, and so on. And if I had more products, the products would just continue to be listed down here with the quantity and the selling unit being by the pound or by the ounce and so on. That's kind of step one, is you have all of the products that have been ordered. Step two is how do I actually pack these into my individual customer orders? That's through packing list, which you can pull from the download orders button. Now the packing list has my customer name, it has my customer order. So I know to fulfill this customer's order, I need 4 pounds of those tomatoes, I need 1 pack of those bell peppers, and so on. In terms of labels, the CSA that I was a part of this summer actually just straight up printed this off of Excel and cut this with scissors and added the label, or added it as a slip into my CSA share each week. Each week I saw that each product had a black X through it as they were packing the box. And it was really cool, actually. It was really great for me as being somebody that talks about the software, but not necessarily uses it practically, to see how somebody is really using it. And that's why we have Diane here today, is to shed some light from the farmer standpoint. So that's kind of the tour of the house of the back end. I'll show you what the storefront looks like now. It's been a minute and a half here. All of that work on the back end produces a storefront that looks like this. As a customer, when I arrive at the storefront, I can add products to the cart quite easily. Go to checkout, choose from available delivery or pickup locations. As a customer, if I don't live in a city that the farmer has a delivery location for, I'll be defaulted to the pickup locations, which appear in a drop-down menu. I choose the date that I want to collect the product, and then choose from those payment options that I mentioned on the front end. So I'm going to pay via cash when I arrive at the farm, and there's no apples left because there's a lot of people wanting my apples apparently. But I place my order, and that order is created as an invoice within the farmer facing end of the storefront. And there's no apples, of course, because when I was showing the back end demo, I reduced my inventory down to 0 to show you how inventory worked. So if I go back into my storefront, you'll actually see that my apples have disappeared. Okay, that is my presentation on who Localine is and walking you through the back end and the front end of the software. I'm now going to stop this share and kick it back to Tabitha, who is going to now take over. Oh, you're muted, Tabitha. There you go.
Thanks, Jordan. I think that introducing everybody to Localine in that way really helps so that folks can put a face with the name and know who they can call if they have any questions. And that free demo opportunity is really great. I'd like to drop that link right here into the chat real quickly. Right there, so that everybody can access that easily. Okay, great. And, all right, can everybody see my screen? Perfect. All right, we are going to now move over to hearing from a farmer firsthand as to how this worked for her. Diane, if you're ready, we will join you for some words of wisdom on how this works firsthand.
Okay, thank you. I think all right. My name is Diane Kramer. My husband and daughter and myself have a small farm in Nittany Valley in Center County. We have been doing a 60-member CSA for about 14 years, and we do one local farmers market a week. It's a growers market. Since we started our CSA, we have always delivered to individuals' homes. So delivery is not new to us, just to make that a point. So in March, when the whole COVID stuff erupted, we were following the PA Department of Ag webinars and everything about all the protocols that they were suggesting for market safety. And our market was to start in April. So at that point, we decided to have an online presence. And another local grower had been looking at a lot of different platforms, and she suggested Local Line, which we signed up for the free trial. We found it very easy to use. We personally feel that the subscription fee is very fair. Their technical support in helping us get started and all through the season has been excellent. There's been no issues there. So we started our presence at our April growers market with pre-order grab and go. We had some email addresses from our weekly regular customers. So we had emailed them, asking them, to sign up for Local Line or to sign up for our store. And then the first several weeks at market, we had a sign up sheet requesting people's emails. And then we invited them to join our Local Line store. For us, it's been the online store pre-order has been a lot less waste. We are only harvesting exactly what we need to fulfill orders. You do have to, as we do anyway with CSAs, you have to go out and estimate what you think you're going to be able to put onto the store. And it's some weeks we find that midway through the week, we open our store at Tuesday at 5 and we close it Thursdays at 9 p.m. And then we harvest and deliver Saturday mornings. Some weeks you might find midweek that you have something in excess. So it is easy to go on Local Line and add more inventory. We found that to be very easy. Now, also estimating what we used to take to farmers markets from previous week's sales, not knowing what the weather was going to be like, if it was going to be a good sale day. That has cut back a lot of our waste also, because like I said, we just harvest for the orders that we need. Also the loading, unpacking, setting up, loading, unpacking, setting up, all of that. So the amount of time that we are now spending packing orders, which has increased, I guess that's been offset by the amount of time we're now saving doing extra packing, unpacking, setting up, and extra harvesting. So we kind of feel that that's a wash, that balances itself out. Oh, one thing that I can say that a point there that Jordan brought out about the pick list, we do not use the pick list. We print out, we choose to print out the invoices when the store closes. Because we have multiple products, we sell produce, fresh chicken, we have pork, and we have baked items. We feel that having the invoice as a packing list, we can go down and pack the produce the day ahead, put it in our cooler, highlight what's packed, and then know we have to go back in and pack the meat, pack the baked items, whatever, after the fact. So that's one thing that we have just felt has been easier for us to do. And then we also have the copy of the invoice to stick in the order if someone has paid or they've paid several days after they've placed the order. We have proof to show them that it's been paid, unpaid, or whatever. Now, we would typically have had a presence at our farmers market through Thanksgiving. In September, we decided that we were going to drop going to the market, and we just went completely online. At this point, our CSA was over. Over half of our CSA members very quickly transitioned to this online store. They set up accounts and they started to purchase. We continued offering the contactless home delivery, or else we had farm pickup. Our online sales are larger than they have been from previous market years. We have had customers say that they don't know why. They're regular customers that have been solid weekly customers spending $30 or $40 a week at in-face markets, saying that for some reason they don't understand why, but they find themselves spending more online. We don't have any more product online than we would typically be taking to farmers markets, but people just seem to buy more. It's kind of a mystery. One of the biggest concerns that we have going forward with this is that, for the last 14 or 15 years, going to farmers markets, meeting people face to face, knowing that their daughter's graduating, that, someone's getting married, making that relationship and, developing that relationship. We're not sure through the online store how you continue to do that. I mean, we've established a group of very dedicated customers over the last 15 years. And, we keep in contact with them through email, obviously, and, fulfilling their orders, but it's different. Hopefully 2021 will turn around and we'll all feel comfortable once again offering farm visits and events. So I'm open for questions. I'm happy to answer anything. I just tried to be a little brief about how much I shared with you, but I have much more that I'd be happy to answer questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing, Diane. Hearing those experiences firsthand really helps us to understand what that might look like when other folks are considering adopting those platforms. I want to take just a quick moment to share that the link that we've shared with you is a link that Pasa is partnering with Local Line. Local Line is helping Pasa to fundraise. So when you visit Local Line through that link, Pasa does receive a donation. And it is important for us to mention that Local Line isn't the only e-commerce platform out there. It won't be the ideal fit for every single farm. And we'll share a promotional list of e-commerce options. Pasa has done webinars in the past, which overview a nice, robust list of the folks that are out there. We will say that we have worked with Local Line in setting up a digital farmers market for our conference this year. And we need to emphasize keeping everyone safe. We have some resources on our website. If if you click on the COVID banner, one example to point out is Local Line's Direct Farmers Markets COVID guidelines. Let me also share that link. We'll get those to you in the chat box here shortly. And here's a screenshot of, sorry for the back and forth. We'd like to mention that February is fast approaching. And so if you're considering adopting an e-commerce platform, now is a really good time. Adopting an e-commerce platform before CSA and spring season is a really good way to increase your sales this winter while preparing for the spring. We can go ahead and open up for questions. Does anyone have questions for Diane or Jordan today? Just check the chat box real quick. Let's see. Jordan, we have a question that asks, can you speak a little more about the logistics of selling items by weight and the process for adjusting the order total based on actual weight packed for a customer?
Make sure I'm unmuted so I'm not just talking to myself. Yeah, it's an interesting challenge, right? Is to say, you know, most e-commerce platforms are going to make selling a variable weighted product challenging. For example, if you sell chicken breast by the pound, you might list it in your online store at $10 a pound. But as you, Marie, know probably better than anyone, that order is never going to be exactly 10 pounds. It's going to be, or excuse me, $10. It's going to be $11.50, $9.50, $9.72, and so on. And so there are multiple ways you can manage that within Local Line. The best way, in my opinion, is by leveraging this feature we have called advanced inventory. And so what advanced inventory enables you to do is to list your products in your storefront at their per pound price, but also provide an average pack size for a product. So I can share a link here to, I'll actually, as I'm speaking, I'll pull up a link to one of our customers who uses this feature. So you can take a look while I'm explaining how it works. The customer's Spray Creek Ranch, and they sell basically purely meat products. And they use advanced inventory because, of course, they sell their products by the pound, but they sell products that are quite often much more than 1 pound. They sell steaks, roasts, and so on. And so customers don't always know how many pounds to add to their cart, right? So if they add a single roast to their cart, if the product's listed by the pound, they might only add $12 worth of product to their cart. But when the when the farmer actually adjusts that invoice for a 3 pound roast, the customer is going to get back an invoice for $36 when they thought they were spending $12. So advanced inventory makes it so that when you add a roast to your cart, it'll add at $36. And that way the adjustment that you're making as a farmer is much smaller, and the sticker shock to the customer is much smaller. So a customer will place an order, and what you can do is set up payment options that don't allow for a customer to pay immediately at time of checkout with a credit card, because it'll give you as the farmer the time to go back into that order and adjust for that variable weight. So you'll go into their invoice and you'll change the weight from 1 pound to 1.14 pound, for example, and that will automatically adjust the actual price of the product. And then you can send that invoice out to the customer to make sure that they're receiving an invoice and paying an invoice that has the proper price connected. And so when you send that invoice out, there's a pay link directly within the email that they can follow to then go pay for that order.
Thank you for speaking to that, Jordan. I see we have another question here in the chat. It asks, we at our farm have Square for our online sales and our POS system in our retail market. We really like our POS system. Can Local Line integrate with the Square POS or any other in-person POS?
It's an extremely timely question, and it's really exciting for me to say before the end of December, we'll be releasing an integration with the Square POS, which we're super thrilled about. I mean, we've been working on it for a really long time. Square had a lot of technical requirements that we had to match up with, as you can imagine, Square being a really powerful company. But we're going to be able to integrate with their Square POS starting before 2021, definitely in the new year, so that you can sync up your online and in-person inventory. And so that when a customer comes to your farm stand and pays via Square POS, that order can be recorded in local line. So it's incredibly powerful for someone to be able to sync up what's listed online as well as what they have in person for in-person sales. So you can look for that to be released in the next, call it 2 to 4 weeks. I know that's a bit vague, but we'll be making a big announcement when that is available. And sorry, I missed the name of the person who asked that. Ali, if you'd like to send me an email separate to this webinar, I'm happy to put you on the quickly growing list of folks that we'll be reaching out to once that integration becomes available.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jordan. We have a question for Diane. Diane, how much time would you say you spend maintaining your online store per day or per week?
I would estimate anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half a week. It's once you have the store set up with your photos and descriptions, I mean, you can go in and do all of that in the beginning of the season. Then it's just a matter of loading onto the store what you have available with numbers. And then at the end of the week, printing off what you need to fulfill the orders. So it's fairly painless.
Thanks for sharing that, Diane. Jordan, there's a quick question here regarding farmers market. My farmers market is run by a part-time market manager. Does an online store make sense for us?
Yeah, so we have multiple platforms designed for farmers markets, right? We have a hub platform and we have a farmers market platform. I know that one's called the market platform specifically, but the truth is that there are probably an equal number of markets that use the hub platform and that use the market platform. The hub platform allows for aggregated orders. So a customer goes into the market storefront and places an order with any number of vendors, pays once, and then when they arrive on site, they're receiving a single order that's packed up for them. The market product, meanwhile, it acts in a distributed checkout method where when I add products from different vendors to my cart, when I get to that checkout, I'm paying each farmer directly, and then I'll be receiving the product from each farmer directly on site. For farmers markets, to answer the direct question, for markets with very limited resources, be it not enough volunteers or all the volunteer and staff time is spoken for, or as you mentioned in the question, it's a part-time market manager, that market method makes a lot of sense because the truth is once the market is actually set up, all the work falls on the shoulders of the actual vendors. And when I say all of the work, I pretty much just mean the account maintenance. As Diane said, the 45 minutes to an hour and a half of account maintenance, printing those orders out, those invoices, picking and packing orders, and so on. So yeah, the markets with fewer resources are better suited for the market account.
Great, thank you for sharing. This next question we have could be either for Diane or Jordan. There's a question asking for suggestions on capturing e-commerce market through social media outreach, taking those folks that you meet on social media and bringing them over to your online store. Can you speak to that?
I can provide my thoughts, and then Diane, if you want to share from a farmer standpoint, that'd be great. But I mean, food is something that's very visual. If I go to, I'm sure if you did A/B testing and you had a storefront that had no product images and you're trying to sell food products versus one that had these beautiful, vibrant images, the customer is going to buy product from the store with images 10 out of 10 times. People want to know what they're buying when they're buying food. That's why when people go to the grocery store, they pick up apples and make sure that they're not bruised or otherwise damaged, right? So social media is a really powerful tool for being able to share images, whether it's of specific products or or what's going on at the farm, right? Little video clips or photos of your farm. So we have, it's not like it's local line proprietary, but there's a really easy way to actually add a shop now button to a Facebook page, where a business Facebook page usually has a send message or a call now button. You can change that within 3 or 4 clicks to say shop now. You can link your local line store directly to that shop now button and then pin a post to the top of your Facebook page that just says, hey everyone, check out our online store, click the shop now button to view our available products. If you don't know what pinning a post means, basically means that the post lives at the top of your newsfeed on your page. No matter what other content you post, it'll always fall below the pinned post. So that's a great way to use Facebook. In terms of Instagram, which is your other option, there's no shop now button, but adding your storefront to your Instagram bio is a really simple thing you can do.
Thanks, Jordan. Diane, do you have direct experience as far as bringing folks over from your Facebook page, for example, to your online store?
I wouldn't. I would agree with Jordan. I think that the more you post and the more images that have, that are appealing are, bringing people to the store via Facebook, via Instagram. There's one thing that I guess I'll throw this at Jordan that I have been contemplating on the local line store. I'm not sure that I agree with the concept of the out of stock, taking the image away off the store, because we do have people that go on, and if there aren't nice images on there or aren't items and they just see nothing, they're wondering, what was on there? What did they have for sale? So that was a question actually I was going to send to him next week. If there was a way that you could still have an image of a beet and just have out of stock, so people knew that you did have things on the store and they weren't disappointed and not coming back. Does that make sense, Jordan?
Yeah, it does make sense. As I said during the demo, one of the main things we always aim to help farmers with is communicate with the customers exactly what's available, because prior to using any sort of e-commerce, in our original conversations, our 2015 conversations with farmers, one of the main challenges and one of the big time sucks for a lot of the farmers was receiving calls from customers who were just basically asking, what do you have available? Just looking for an availability list. And so we thought, if we only show products in the storefront that are actively available, we're really helping solve that problem. As our customer base has grown, we've now been challenged to or requested to show out of stock products for the reason that you're suggesting, right? Is especially this year where people wanted as much local food as possible just because they want product that's traveled the least distance and touched by the fewest hands. Stores were selling out so quickly, especially in March and April. Like we were getting requests for limiting the amount of product that someone could buy in a transaction, which for us was like, what is going on? Our goal has always been to help farmers sell more, and now all of a sudden they're asking us to help them sell less per transaction. So yeah, the out of stock thing is actually something we've been pushed back on by our customers like you who have requested that. And I think it's been requested enough that we've moved away from dying on the hill of never adding that feature. And actually we think the best way to do it is probably just add an out of stock category as opposed to littering the main storefront with products that are also out of stock. We don't want to put them in the same product listings. You're having to scroll through products that are out of stock to find what is in stock. But by having an out of stock category and making that optional, I think that's the happy middle ground for that kind of feature. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that sounds great. We just find people are disappointed that go on after, everyone else has been on there buying everything and there's nothing on there. So,
hey, I had that experience too. The CSA that I was a part of, it was almost competitive some weeks where it was, you get the catalog schedule at 9 a.m. It's like you're buying concert tickets. You got to get the peppers before everybody else gets the peppers.
Right. Or the bacon.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks, guys. I think that's a really great example of how easy it is to access these companies that are working directly with farmers to ensure that their product is meeting that need. I will throw up this contact sheet here. This is contact information for Jordan. And Jordan, if you want, feel free to also drop your email address in the chat feature if you've not done that yet. And I will also share contact information for Diane. I'd like to point out that Diane has a fabulous Facebook page for Kramer Farm. And so I will throw that into the chat as well. If you'd like to keep up with what they are up to, that's a great way to do it. Are there any more questions for Jordan or Diane or the Pasa staff that's on the call here today? If there is, feel free to unmute and just go ahead and jump in. Give that a couple of seconds to make sure that there's there waiting to speak. And I think I'm just scanning the chat box here. I think we've caught all the questions in the chat box. And good deal. Jordan, Diane, or Christina, any last words of wisdom on e-commerce or otherwise today?
No, thank you. Thank you all for joining and your participation. And like I said, if you feel like what I've showed you today is not suitable for your farm, or you have more questions about a specific use case or workflow, please get in touch with our team. We're happy to walk you through, or at least we always want to learn more about your farm to figure out if it is a fit. If we feel like it is, awesome. We'll show you exactly how we can help you solve whatever you're trying to solve through our software. If it's not a fit, we shake hands and part ways, and we appreciate your time. But that's really all from us. If you want to check out LocalLine for yourself, you can go to the link that I just posted in the chat there, site.localline.ca/Pasa, to support Pasa directly. And someone from our team will be in touch to chat more or learn about your farm, and again, see if we can be a good fit for you. But that's all for me. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us today, Jordan. Diane, thank you as well.
Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
And I just wanted to, this is Christina Kostelecki, the operations director here at Pasa, and I wanted to thank all of our panelists for coming on. And as Tabitha mentioned, there's tons of e-commerce options out there in the world. And we really enjoyed working with LocalLine because they do offer a solution for a lot of different types of our farms. Obviously, if you're joining us, you know that Pasa has a lot of direct market farmers who have a lot of different outlets that they sell to. And so we wanted to partner with an organization that both met the needs of our various farm members, but also shared our commitment to sustainable agriculture. And we really feel like LocalLine does that. And to be, completely transparent, like Tabitha already said, we do get a small percentage of folks who sign up through that link. So it is sort of a fundraiser for Pasa as well, but we, don't have any sort of exclusivity. And as Tabitha mentioned, and we dropped into the link, we also have webinars that we've done with other organizations that are e-commerce, and encourage you to check out those as well and see who's going to be the best fit for your particular farm.